Hello and welcome back to the HTML tutorial series here on my channel, Everything Awesome. I just wanted to go ahead and let you guys know that there are other videos on here besides computer programming. You know, I have all kinds of stuff. I do weather, music, time-lapse videos. I have a section called Scott's Rants where I'll just talk about whatever I want. I have dream interpretation and symbology videos. Just a lot of cool stuff. So pretty much everything I'm interested in. So feel free to check out the rest of the channel, but I'm not going to waste any more of your time talking about that. So in this tutorial today, we're going to talk about, in the first tutorial I showed you some basics. Now we're going to talk about H1 tags, which are used to assist the search engine in finding proper content when people are searching. Paragraphs, you know, how to align things, center, right, left. Horizontal rules, which is basically just like a line across the screen. One more thing I want to add in here too while we're on it. Spaces, you know, like see the cursor up and down kind of spaces, like there's a space between 9 and 11 and 11 and 12. That's what this little command here does. And then we have that one. And then we're going to talk about, you can also do a horizontal rule that's only a certain width, you know, you can move it to the right, to the left. Images, text, citations, you know, different kinds of text tags, of course. URLs, how to link to a certain thing, how to make the link open in a new window. And then at the end here, we're going to do a little example where we put them all together, where we take a link, we center it on the screen, and we make it where when we move the mouse over an image, the image is actually the link, where when you click the image, you go to the site. And I'm also going to talk about alt tags in our images. Let me go ahead and I did images. Okay, so let's start from the top. Our H1 through H6 tags. These make the text on the page kind of bold, and we'll do some examples down here at the bottom. And basically what they are is, like, say you have like for example, I have a website on holistic medicine. So some of my H tags might look like, let's say I start with cultural history, right? And you want these to kind of go along with your keywords. So another one might be health benefits. Another one might be scientific inquiry or studies. Preparation methods. And these can basically go above your paragraphs. And you can incorporate other tags in there, like you might want to center it, obviously. So we can do center, and then we could say, well, yeah, that's another thing let's talk about. We'll talk about fonts. We'll go ahead and do that now. You can change the font to anything you want. I need to tell you guys more about that though. Font color equals size equals 3. Strong. The strong tag here means bold, basically. It makes it bold, right? And let's real quick while we're on the subject, let's look at, I'm going to show you this because you're going to need this. HTML color codes. How it works is that we got red, green, and blue. You got a 6-digit code, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we always start it with the pound sign. The first 2 digits represent red, like how dark or how bright of the shade, and it goes from 0 through 9, A through F. F being the brightest, 0 being the weakest. And so the first 2 digits represent what kind of red we're looking at here, how dark or how bright. The next 2 green, and the next 2 blue. So it's the combination of all those together that ultimately gives us our shade of color. So in HTML color codes, we can choose through any shade, any color possibly imaginable. Like, just think of like psychedelic mushrooms. I'm talking billions and trillions of colors. And that can become complicated for you to pick out the right shade. But fortunately, there are some cool online tools, and just Google or YouTube, Yahoo, or whatever search engine you use. You know, I almost feel guilty using Google. Recently I've been branching out into other search engines, and you know, why just use Google? Like, whatever happened to Yahoo and everything else? Anyway, you can pick any shade, and this isn't really the best one. There's other ones. Let me give you my favorite one is where is it? HTML color codes. And you know, look around, make sure you find a good one, because there's ones where you can get a lot. Like the one that we just went to had kind of a limited selection. There's ones where you can pick whatever detailed shade you want, and I'm talking like detailed. Since I'm using Yahoo, here we go. Alright, let's see. And you can pick whatever exact precise one you want, and then it gives you this code. So you can use those tools to get your color codes. So there we have it. Well, we've set a H6 tag, and we put the font color, what we just picked, the size, and you could even choose a font, you know, like Carrier New or whatever you want. And then of course, as we learned in the first tutorial, whenever we put a tag in, we end the tag. So we've got a center tag over here. So we're going to want to, well, let's start on this end. The last one we did was strong, so let's backslash strong slash font slash center. Now if we leave out the closed font tag, it'll just keep this color and this size for whatever, you know, as the rest of the page if there's not another closed font tag. So there we have it. Hopefully this isn't too much at once for you, but you'll start to get it. If you take notes and you really try, it'll come to you. Anyway, so then we're going to look at the paragraph tag here, and let me put a separate font. There for you. Alright, paragraph. And that's obvious when you got some text on your website. And you might want to, you know, you can align this sort of stuff. You can take a, oh, I got it right there. You can align right, left, center, and then put your text on the page however you want, over here, or just centered. And that's straightforward with a P and then a closed P for paragraph. And then here's the one to align it. BR, now say you want double spaces between your paragraphs, you would do this, BR, BR. And that adds a space. And then this one here, oh, forgot to end my comment. Will break like if we put it right here, it'll break it right there. It'll make a space right there in the middle of it. So then we got HR, which is basically just a horizontal line, a real thin line. It can help to make your site a little more aesthetically pleasing, and we can control that. We have width attributes. Width 10%, align center. What that'll do is make a really small line right in the middle there. And now to images. And I like to type these out, so I'm going to go ahead and do it. To the code for an image is going to be img src, then the URL to the image, my image.jpg, and then we can adjust the height and the width of it, which is kind of important. And you can just put in numbers, like 100 will be relatively, here for example, if we go to, I believe that's 190, that square right there. So that gives you an idea, and you can just kind of experiment around with that. 100. And then the alt, this right here, the alt, that when you search for an image on Google, Google looks through those alt tags. So say I type in sassafras tree seeds bark for sale. and then I click on images, the keywords that I just typed in there, it's going to find this because the words that I typed in matched this alt tag. So it identifies the image to the search engine. Okay, now we're going to look at some text attributes. Say we have a paragraph and we got some text here, and all of a sudden we want a word bold. We would, now I don't use the B one, I use strong. I really don't understand the difference, but I'm sure there probably is one. Okay, next. Now remember our center tag to make things center our text. It's one of my favorites. Let's look at the next one. Say we have some text and we want a word or two to be italic. We use the I tag. And I'm trying to do it real time so you can kind of understand how this stuff works. Okay, so next, let's see, small, and that should be obvious what that does. Center our text, make a paragraph. Well, or we can do it either way. We can do a paragraph in the center. We want small text. I'm trying to type so fast and I'm messing up. And then the next one we have is sup. And a good example of that is if you ever go on Wikipedia and it's got like the little numbers which represent the citations next to the statements, and they're like smaller and they're kind of elevated up in the air. That's what that does. So say we put a statement like echinacea works with the human endocannabinoid system, and then we want to cite it. We'd put sup. Or we could just go ahead and put the parenthetical citation like and then end it, and that'll put like, you know, it'll make like a little parenthetical citation. Okay, and of course, you know, we have our open and our end, B, and then the close bracket. Remember the close bracket thing? When you start something, you end it with close bracket, the same tag with just the slash added in there. And okay, about the supplemental, the parenthetical citations, that brings me to another point: citations. If you know, and I'm not sure about this, but I have a sneaking suspicion that including citations and citation tags on your website has an impact on your visibility in search engines. Because think about it: the HTML developers, the people who designed and programmed the HTML markup language, included a citation tag. So, I mean, it also makes the text look a little bit different, like kind of fancy, you know, like indicating this is a citation, this is not part of the regular ordinary content of the website. So we have the citation tag, and of course we just do that with the site. And then that reminds me, let me tell you about a really cool tool you can use. And this is my website. I'll put a link to in there in the description. You can check out the source code of it. Just right click on it and go to view page source, and it'll let you look at the source code. Actually, since it's in frames, I would go to view frame source, and that'll give you the source code of that particular page. Okay, anyway, just Google citation machine, and it's a really useful tool. What you can do is you can just search for like, say you have a book. I mean, you might be good at doing citations, you might be an expert, you might not need it, but it can help you because it can go ahead and save those citations for you, and you can just cut and paste them and put them in a file somewhere. Here it is right here, citationmachine.net. You know, just search for the book that you got the statement from that you want to cite, and it'll create the citation for you, and it'll actually save them and archive them for you. So there you go. And then you would just paste or type your citation here, and then in the citation tag, and there you go. And I use those on my website. I have a holistic medicine website where I write about all kinds of plants. I have over 500 plants or something like that in the database. Really cool. botanical guides, and I use those, and they seem like they help, and I think it's really cool to put citations on your website. And some more here. We're going to look at URLs. You want to have a link on your website, right? Like here, let's go to my website here. Links, these right here. Those are brought to you by this code right here. Now this particular one right here opens the link in the same window, so it doesn't make a pop-up. Now if we want a pop-up, we use this right here. Target equals quote underscore blank end quote. And so I'll go ahead and type it out. I like to type it. I just love typing code. href equals quote, and then the URL www.whatwebs.com. Except there's no dude after com and the .com, but who cares? It's just a demo. And then what you want the link text to say here, like click me, and then you do a /a to end it. If you don't put that in there, everything following it will be a link, pretty much. And then of course I showed you the center tag here. I know this might be a lot, I'm sorry if it is, but these are really just the basics of dealing with your content in between your body tag. And of course you put some text here, and the browser will center. Okay, and then we're going to combine a few things here. We're going to make an image where when it's clickable, it's a link, and we're going to center it in the middle of the page. Okay, so how we do that? Center, href. We put our URL in there. We want it to open in a new window this time, just for demo. Okay, well, so we'll put the target in there. Then we'll put image. Then we'll put an image name. We want to make it, let's say we want to make it big, 400, height, 400, alt, and let's say it's a picture of a hot chick. All right. And then we're going to put, remember to close our A, and then end our center. Now, there's another exception. When you're doing images, there is no like end image. You don't do that for that. It's just the image tag, and that's it. There's no end for that. And then of course the font color equals size equals, and we can also do font face equals, and then you put the font type in there. So let's take all this here and actually make it into a website based off of what we learned in lesson 1 and lesson 2. So doc type HTML, head, title, learning the basics. And I'm not going to bother in trying to make it look real neat or anything. Meta name equals keywords, content equals h1 tag, paragraphs, centering, fonts, horizontal rules. What else we got in here? Images, links, text, tags, etc. Meta name equals description, content equals. This tutorial website demonstrates how to use the basic tags in the HTML markup line required to design beautiful websites for your target audience. Meta and there we have that. Then we're going to end our head tag. Remember the body. And then we're going to go down here to the bottom. Oh, one more thing I'm going to show you in here too. End our body, end our HTML. and that is the Xmp tag. What this does is it lets you post code in there, so I can, I can show off the code and stuff. And let's go ahead and just, finish this website. Let's see. We'll go center P. How to use. Oh, actually. H1. Oh, we don't need the P in this case because it's not a paragraph. Oops. Let's go ahead and pick a color out. Oh, and I'll show you background colors too. Font color equals size equals 4. And we'll make it bold by putting in the strong tag. And we won't worry about closing the strong tag because I don't care if everything on the page is bold. And then we'll do a space. And then we're going to show the code examples below. So we'll and that one right there is white. I'm just going to go ahead and wrap this up. I'm not going to sit here and try to, it'll take, you'll be sitting here watching me for a while, but you kind of get the gist of it, right? Let's go ahead and do that. Let's just save this puppy right now. And of course it's not going to look, because it was just a like a cheat sheet. So I'd have to go through like I just did right here and out of these centers and make it all. But right now it's just like just commands. Like it's just going to put a line there and then another line, and then that image doesn't even exist, and just going to say blah 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 right there. It's not going to. And then all these right here. Here, let's look at it. Where is it? See, there's our horizontal lines, there's our colored text, there's our image, and here's the rest of our stuff. And because, like I said, it was a cheat sheet, so. But let's look at an actual, like, here's my example site right here. And this is an example of the Xmp tag I showed you, how I actually could insert code onto the page so that somebody could see it and make use of it. And here's an example of me using the different font colors and sizes, and it's pretty cool. And we'll look at the source code. Oh yeah, let me. Well, I'll show you how to do this in another tutorial. Here's a citation example, and in the next tutorial I'll show you how to do background color, how you can go ahead and set at the beginning of the script the link color. Notice the link color, and you can do like when you move the mouse over it, it changes color. We can go ahead and set the standard page color, link color, visited link color, etc. And let's check out this source code. Let's see which page we want to look at. Let's look at background color. This is going to be a big file. I'm about to wrap this up. And here is what, and like I said, I'll put the link to this website in the description, and you can go, right click on it and view the source code and check these out. This is what an organized page would look like. We got our head, HTML to meta tags, body. Here we set the background color, and you can go learn a lot of things just by looking at the website. We set the link color on here. We set the font to Lucida console. We've got a little banner there. We got our H1 tag. We got everything centered. We do an Xmp command here so I can show people how to use the code. Font color, font size, centered paragraph. We got a link in there. Another centered paragraph, spaces, font changing color fonts, H2 tag, fonts, centered paragraph, link, image, centered, and body and HTML. And you see how short it is. It's 54 lines with spaces, and the final product is this right here. Beautiful. And this site here is made with frames. You notice there's this section, and then there's this. I'll show you how to do that in another tutorial too. So that's all for this tutorial. I better stop before I fill up my hard drive. I hope you found this helpful. If you have any comments, suggestions, questions, anything, please let me know down in the description. And if you enjoy and appreciate these videos, please give me a subscription to help me out. I really appreciate you all. Until next time, I'm Scott. Peace out.